What's up, everyone? Thanks for clicking on the video. Just a quick reminder before we get right into it. Remember to like, subscribe, and turn on the post notifications. It's free, and it would really help me out a lot. Thanks for the support. Enjoy the video. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of The Release. So there was recent news about James Harden's jersey possibly being retired in Houston. And today we're just going to discuss that, whether we think it's a good idea or not. So Brandon, welcome back once again. You are the guest, so I'll let you start with your opinion first.
Well, I'm just going to come out with the big news of the day. It is a X. There is no retirement number for James Harden in Houston. It is ridiculous to think that he would even be considered for that. I don't even know when the last time an active player got a jersey number retirement other than Wayne Gretzky. That's the only player I can think of in the history of sports that had their number retired before they actually retired. So it is a X for me. There is no way James Harden should be considered one of the greatest ever at this point to even have that type of situation happen.
Wow. Okay, so there's your answer. Okay, so Michael and Jordan, you guys go, then we'll argue the topic.
Okay, I don't even think it's arguable at this point. In the top three greatest Rockets of all time. He's won multiple scoring championships. He got All-Star and like NBA first and second teams while he was there. Averaged 36 in a year. He deserves his number hanging in the Raptors for that. But yeah, it's him, Hakeem, and Moses. And Hakeem brought a championship, but Moses didn't even bring a championship there, and he still got his number retired. So
true.
Well, hey, before Jordan goes, let me just this is the people that the Rockets have retired. So they have Yao Ming, Clyde Drexler, Calvin Murphy, Moses Malone, Hakeem Olajuwon, and I don't even know how to say this guy's name, Rudy Tomovich. I think it's Tomovich.
Tomjanovich. Yeah.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Yeah. It just seems like a pretty crappy list to me to begin with. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, they're not the greatest organization to begin with, but
I feel like they
don't have amazing.
They shouldn't be retiring any numbers at this point. There's no one to retire.
Hakeem Olajuwon's number should be retired. Hakeem and Moses are deserving.
You know, I disagree.
Okay, well, you know what? We'll argue it later. Jordan, you go ahead and see your topic.
Yeah, so as I was saying, he's an 8-time All-Star as a Rocket, an MVP, a 3-time scoring champ, an assist champ, 7-time All-NBA. With his stats, this would make him the top 3 Rocket player of all time, right behind Hakeem and Moses Malone. I would say Clyde Drexler, but Clyde Drexler got there when he was older. So, But this is
I did more at Portland.
This is pretty easy for me. One of the best shooting guards already. I don't think this is even a conversation. Not even a conversation. I'm sorry, man.
It is a conversation. It's an absolute conversation.
No.
Let's entertain the conversation. Let's hit it.
Let's entertain the conversation. Okay.
Let's have the conversation then. Because right now, I'm still standing 50-50 because, he did great things for that organization, but never won a championship, and he was, purely toxic in his ending days with that club.
But you're not retiring the team, like the 18-19 Rockets. You're retiring a number. You're retiring one person. He did everything you can do for a solo person, other than defend. Let's not talk about that.
Mike, you are disrespectful. Okay, you are pooping all over NBA teams and NBA players everywhere. This guy gained weight on purpose so he would get traded, and the Houston Rockets didn't want to deal with his sorry behind anymore. This guy was a wuss. He was a sour puss. He was everything on this planet that somebody shouldn't be, and they're gonna retire his number after they were disrespected by James Harden, and they're gonna retire his number for it. That's crazy to me.
I mean, he's not the only player to act like that while leaving out. Let's not act like LeBron didn't whine during the playoffs before he left Cleveland. So, I mean, we're not retiring the character, we're retiring the player. So
exactly.
LeBron never got fat just to get out of it.
Yeah.
He did whine in his later years against the Celtics in his last season.
He's still though, like LeBron James would never, ever get fat. Like LeBron James is always gonna go. He'll whine for sure. He'll whine, but he's not gonna go out there and not play primetime LeBron James basketball. Like that's just what he does. He's not.
If you see those last two games of the series, that doesn't look like the same LeBron that you saw in the first 3 games. So, and that was in a playoff game. So we're talking about regular season, and that was in the middle of a playoff game.
Totally different. LeBron James puts teams on his back on his own. James Harden never did that by himself. He always had someone like Chris Paul or someone like that with him to help him on that journey. LeBron James has done it by himself. So he has all right to be like, you know what? You guys don't help me. I'm out of here. James Harden was not that guy.
He did have Clint Capella for a long time too, even when all those point guards were gone. And when James was practically the point guard there, Clint Capella was catching these lobs and helping him out too, right? So like,
again, you don't need a ring to get your number retired. So I don't.
of course not.
I don't get that argument. You can. A lot of people want to be retired if that's the case.
Yao Ming didn't even average 20 points. He's got his number retired.
Exactly.
I don't know what Rudy Tomjanovic did, but I mean, he was enough to be remembered by the fans. But they'll always remember James Harden. He was their guy. When you said Houston, you saw James Harden's face for a decade.
You're skipping over the disrespect. He purposely got fat to get traded. How do you retire a guy who disrespected your organization like that? That is ridiculous. You're not addressing that, and you need to address it.
I think 36 points in averaging can make up for a little trade request. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's enough. I think that's enough to cancel that out.
That's disrespectful to the season ticket holders who come and they pay whatever $50,000 a year to watch an elite athlete be elite, but you can't be elite when you're gaining weight on purpose just to get traded. You can't pay as a viewer. I know no one's paying right now, but you will eventually pay for a ticket to see somebody who's not giving it their all because they're checked out. They want to leave. You cannot retire a number of somebody who disrespected the team and the crowd, the people, the fans. You cannot oh my gosh. You guys
still 8-time All-Star MVP.
True.
So I mean,
like the stats say that he should be like, because this is where I'm like questioning it, because the stats say that his jersey should be retired, right? But the attitude doesn't. So like, of course he had a good attitude for the first couple years, but then when he like started going through that bad point guard phase, like where he just had like was constantly upset with everyone, like he got rid of Pat Bev, then he got rid of Chris Paul, then he got rid of Russell Westbrook, and then he left because of John Wall. And then you hear these guys talk about him in the locker room, say like how it's cancerous and such unprofessional basketball. It makes you question, like, does he really deserve love from that team? And like Brandon was saying, the season ticket holders buy tickets to go see him. They don't buy tickets to see Boogie Cousins, who's going to be there for 5 games and leave afterwards, right? Like they don't buy tickets to see PJ Tucker hit like 5 corner threes. Like they don't do that. They try to see James Harden or like not like. They want to see their team thrive and do well, and James Harden was necessary for that, and he wasn't there. So now they are nowhere even close to a playoff spot.
Yeah, I mean, he was their organization for the whole decade. When you thought of Houston, you thought of James Harden. Without him, they don't even make playoffs.
Yeah,
they're trash.
Exactly. Okay, no. Speaking of playoffs, you guys are listing his accolades for regular season stuff. Guess what? James Harden has never done anything in the playoffs worth of any mention. You can't even recollect a game-winning shot from playoffs from James Harden, and you're willing
to the the
conference finals. So,
3 times, but that's it though.
No, he hasn't come to where he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be a clutch player. He never performed in the clutch.
I agree.
You're gonna retire
That's
his number
agreeable.
for nothing. You're awarding nothing. That's the problem.
Was Yao Ming clutch? Was Rudy Tomjanovic clutch?
But yeah,
but they did more. Dang.
Wait, Yao Ming did more than James Harden.
No, but like that's why I caught
was an
myself
old
there.
Clyde Drexler more clutch than James Harden?
Okay, but Clyde Drexler was great in himself, right? So like even if he did do great things on the Rockets, like come on, he was on the Rockets and he's one of the all-time greats. You got to retire his jersey. It's like, has Washington retired Michael Jordan's jersey? Because if so, like he didn't do much, but it's Michael Jordan.
I mean, this is also James Harden's prime, so that's
yeah.
But that's what I'm talking about. How are we retiring an active player's number? That makes no sense to
me.
You
want him to wait until he retired? Is that it essentially? Is that your complaint?
at least consider it when he's retired. But as he's an active player, that makes no sense. The only person I know of that happened to is Wayne Gretzky, and James Harden on a athlete to athlete level does not relate to Wayne Gretzky.
I mean, his number was going to get retired anytime soon. So
yeah, but in general, I think even when he retires, he should have his number in the rafters for sure.
Yeah. So what you're gonna want to wait until like 8 years? So you're like, oh yeah, his number got retired.
Okay,
it's still gonna be retired by the end of the day.
Okay, so let me bring up another
That's
scenario.
The criteria for this.
Let me bring up a second scenario then. So James Harden jersey gets retired. Okay, so he deserves it. So should the Celtics, similar situation, kind of, sort of like we didn't really see that yesterday, the way he was like embracing the players and stuff. But Kyrie, supposedly by the media and some players, a cancerous teammate.
Those aren't the same thing. Those aren't the same thing.
Should his jersey get retired by the Celtics? Like
no, that's not the same thing. That's not the same thing. One, that was only 2 seasons.
True.
Two,
Wait,
James Harden. Yeah, it was only 2 seasons.
Damn.
He was injured through the first year for most second half. The team went to the conference finals without him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with him, he choked in the last 4 games, and they lost. And he even got to the conference finals. So that's not even the same situation. The team was better when he was off the court. You couldn't say that about the Rockets.
Let me flip it then.
It's not the same thing. Not the same thing.
Should Kyle Lowry's number be retired in Toronto?
Yes.
Yeah, yes. I agree with that. Yeah,
he's the greatest Raptor of all time. That's not even a debate.
Don't mind.
What about Kawhi Leonard? Because Kyle Lowry doesn't win without Kawhi Leonard.
I agree. They should retire him.
I agree with that. Yes, they should retire Kawhi Leonard's jersey. So what he did is dirty. He didn't gain weight or anything. Like literally, Kawhi Leonard had the best season of his entire career, and most likely his best season that he'll ever have on Toronto. And look what it did for us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he should get his number retired. So.
Okay, so I mean, you guys just pretty much said that James Harden doesn't deserve to get his number retired. If you're telling me that Kyle Lowry and Kawhi Leonard deserve to get their numbers retired in Toronto, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, people. That's all I'm saying.
Wait.
What? Because of the ring? Is that it?
Just the ring is the criteria all of a sudden?
No.
The ring should not be a criteria to get your jersey retired, because if so, take tons and tons of people down for more than just the Rockets. Like Vince Carter, no retired jersey anywhere. Like,
should his number not be retired? So
Charles Barkley,
Vince Carter,
no retired jersey anywhere.
Or at least off of the Sixers, he wouldn't be retired as well. So off of that criteria. So
but you don't have
Karl Malone, no retired jersey.
And Charles had that same kind of bad attitude. He gained a ton of weight to try to not get drafted.
Oh yeah, in his earlier season. So
yeah. Okay, cool. Wait a sec. Charles Barkley's jersey is retired, correct?
Both teams, yeah, both teams.
Yeah. I was gonna say, if it's not retired, then why should James Harden's be? But yeah, no. Then never mind. Ooh, wow. Ugh.
Yeah, Barkley could do all that and still get retired. So could Harden. So
yeah, and Harden's undoubtedly the better player.
Whoa, time out. No, I disagree.
Undoubtedly, but
I
don't agree with that. Just in general, like not even.
That's a whole other conversation to have.
A whole other conversation.
Okay.
How about this? Does Kyle Lowry get his number retired without winning a ring?
Yes.
Probably, yeah. Based off who's been retired on the Raptors, yeah.
No, but not even based off of who's been retired.
The people before them set the criteria for who gets there.
Yeah.
And if Yao Ming is retired, then James Harden should be retired.
But even without that ring, Kyle Lowry is still
one of the best.
He's not the best without the ring. He's the third best without the ring.
Okay, but Kyle Lowry's numbers are not backed up with like elite performances. So you're retiring him based off a feel-good thing, which means you're willing to put emotions over stats for Kyle Lowry, but you're not willing to put emotions over stats for James Harden, which is insane.
Different criteria on the team.
Also the GOAT
different people before him. People before him, like, make the criteria for the people that get put up there now.
So it's like the Lakers. Would Kyle Lowry be retired on the Lakers based off their criteria? Or the Celtics? No. Even Kyrie would be retired on most teams, actually, on the Celtic performance. But because of their criteria, it's not going to happen. Raptors have quite a bit of a low criteria, and they're not even consistent because they haven't retired Chris Bosh's number yet. I don't know how.
Yeah, no,
you
we should
retired
retire Chris Bosh's number.
garbage players on. Yeah, I
But
don't
like
get
the
that.
problem is, yeah, because the Raptors are allowed to have a low criteria because we are the only Canadian team. Two, nothing has really been happened for us besides that 1 year with Kawhi and that one shot that Vince Carter missed. Like that's the only that's the closest we've ever been to finals and stuff like that. So we definitely should have a low criteria, and now it could be higher because now we have a championship. Yeah.
Okay, so wait. Jordan said that the Lakers have a different criteria to retire a number than other organizations. So,
And the Celtics.
Yeah,
And a few other teams. And a few other teams if I can think of.
because they're the two greatest franchises of all time. They need to have high criteria.
I just want to point out that all three of you are absolute hypocrites when it comes to every argument we ever have.
I'm still 50-50.
No. Listen.
Okay,
to me.
let him
talk. Let him
Go
talk.
ahead.
The first time I was ever on the show, we had an argument about what makes an athlete an all-star and what makes them a legend. And the criteria that I gave was a ring. You needed a ring to become a legend. And then Jordan just said that the Lakers' criteria for you to be legend is that you win a ring. So I
didn't say you need to ring a ring. No. Elgin Baylor's number's retired. He doesn't have a ring. So I don't think a ring is necessarily a criteria.
We just said the criteria is higher because
greatness
it's the
that they have
franchise of all time.
No, it's the greatness they upheld.
At least a top 10 player in the league at the time when you were playing.
Saying that the Celtics and Lakers have a criteria that 99% of the people on the retired number list have won a ring. That's what you're saying.
I mean, you could still make it without the ring. So,
but
like Jordan just said, Elgin Baylor.
Elgin Baylor on the Lakers.
You base facts off the majority of people who believe it, and guess what? The Lakers believe to be a legend. You gotta win a ring. So I'm just coming back. I'm just letting you know, all three of you, Jordan, Michael, and David, you're all hypocrites whenever I come on this show. All of you.
How?
Wait.
Will's number retired. Gail Goodridge number's retired. So
wait. Elgin Baylor's a Lakers legend.
So is Wilt Chamberlain.
Wilt Chamberlain's a legend. No ring.
I think Wilt has one ring. Oh, no, Wilt has one ring. Yeah, if I can remember. But still. But he was old. Yeah,
exactly.
How many rings have been won in Rockets history? You can't even that can't be the criteria because there's been none, and you're not going to just not hang.
There's only been two. Like
I know.
Was it one or they have two or one?
Two.
One.
No, I thought Hakeem won two.
So you can't just.
Oh, so who? Hakeem? Oh, Hakeem has two.
Yeah, that's it though.
So you can't put up in the Raptors. You can't just put people from those 2 seasons because those aren't the people that should be up there immortalized with that franchise.
But that's pretty much what the great teams do. They put up the people who have won rings and are.
Are the Houston Rockets one of the greatest teams? But still, Yao Ming should be remembered forever on that team.
They do have a lower criteria though, because. Yeah, okay. This whole thing about criteria is like the Rockets indeed do have a lower criteria because of their franchise. Like
it varies on the team.
Wow.
It varies because you can't just put people from those 2 seasons because those aren't the greatest people to ever put on a Rockets jersey.
Saying every time I come on this show, there's hypocrites, and I'm just here to tell you that
I just backed our point up. Pastor Brandon, I just backed our point up.
There's counseling you go to. There's doctors you can see, and they will help you with this problem. But I'm just letting you know. Every time I come on the show, it's a bunch of hypocrites.
We need more examples than just one, which we proved to be wrong.
How though? Again, criteria are different on teams.
Exactly.
Let's have Pastor Brandon here more frequently.
Okay. So wait, listen.
Can prove him wrong every time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You go first. But like, yeah. You go.
Okay. So why is criteria different on every team? That doesn't make sense. You just gave the same criteria for the Raptors as you did for the Lakers and Celtics. You just said that Kyle Lowry's and Kawhi Leonard deserve to be thing because they won the championship.
No.
You're saying Kawhi would Kawhi deserve his number retired if he didn't win the championship?
Probably.
He was only there for one season. That
one's more 50-50. Kawhi Leonard.
Come on. Only one season.
Yeah.
Harden was there for 8 seasons, so those are different things.
No. I'm not talking about Harden right now. I'm not talking about Harden. I'm saying you.
Kawhi.
Okay.
Equal with one season.
You were willing to retire Kawhi Leonard's number after 1 year with a ring, and that would essentially be the same criteria that the Lakers use for their players and the Celtics. But what you're saying in meaning of that is that that criteria is not different because the Raptors haven't existed for as long or whatever it is. You're using the same criteria the Lakers and Celtics use on the Raptors.
They also aren't as legendary of a team, though.
But what I'm saying is you're saying you just all hesitated to give Kawhi a retirement number if he didn't win a ring.
And he left. If he stayed, that's one thing. But if he left, then it's only 1 year.
If he stayed 1 year for like 2-3 years.
No, the situation is what it is. He left after 1 year. Are you willing to retire his number if they didn't win the ring that year?
He got us, bro.
So
He got us.
No.
No, you're using the Lakers criteria to do it for the Raptors. Exactly my point.
Bro.
No, but it's whoever.
That's different. That was their first championship. So
yeah,
it's their first championship.
Doesn't matter. You're using the criteria.
It does matter.
The Celtics are using.
No,
we're not, because we're not saying that the Lakers and Celtics need to have.
And
Exactly.
He's achieved that franchise's greatness in one season, so we put him up there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly. Now I agree with you on the point. Without the ring, he is not nearly as great as he is at the moment. Because without the ring, he's only there for one season, and then he hits us with the rudest one-night stand of all time. Okay, there's that.
That's a different scenario. Completely different.
But then Kyle Lowry, you said Kyle Lowry. We're using the same criteria for Kyle Lowry. No, we're not. Kyle Lowry, regardless, no ring or not, would still be.
You still would be retired.
It's just whoever achieves great heights with that basketball team. It's whoever, like, it's based on the team, obviously, but like that's why Kawhi's there, because they don't have a championship before him. So he has to be there.
Let me bring this back to James Harden now. So you just said you wouldn't retire Kawhi Leonard's number if he didn't have a ring. Well, guess what James Harden didn't do with Houston? He didn't win a ring. So
but he's been there for 8 years, though. He's been there for 8 years. He's an MVP. Those are not the same. Those aren't the same.
All-star every time. All-star every time.
Those aren't the same. If Kawhi was on the Raptors for 8 years and didn't win a ring, he would be
3 times.
His jersey would be retired. So
3-time scoring champion.
It's not hypocritical. It's called 7 more seasons.
All of you are hypocrites.
7 more seasons.
How's it being hypocritical?
7 more seasons. It's 7 more seasons.
7 more seasons.
The same criteria and changing it every team. That doesn't make sense. You're willing to accept criteria
based on the team,
based on the team, and based on the players.
It's not
on. It's
not retiring. It's not retiring based on league. It's based on team. So if those teams switch leagues or anything like that, you still have to put them in the Raptors for the team.
If Kyle Lowry's jersey, if he does what he does on the Lakers or the Celtics or somewhere like that, his jersey, I personally believe, I hate to say it, is probably not getting retired based on the legends that they have retired. Guess who's retired on the Raptors? Vince Carter. I genuinely don't know who else. And that's a pretty low criteria to like compared to how bad he did us back in the day before any of us were born except for Pastor Brandon.
Because these franchises aren't created equal. All these
They're
franchises
not.
are different.
It doesn't matter.
In lifespan and in greatness. Yes, it does matter.
Yes, it does matter.
You just use the same criteria that the Lakers and Celtics use on Kawhi Leonard with the Raptors, and you're willing to retire his number for it. And now,
no,
not like
we're retiring based on what happened for him, just solely because he won a championship. He's better than a lot of people before him.
You get retired based off your importance to your franchise.
Exactly.
So yeah, of course it's different.
I'm still 50-50 with the James Harden thing. I'm just getting pissed off because of the Raptors things. Never say that.
That's when you take it personal with David. That's when you take it personal. You can't step there.
And then I took it personally.
He took that.
See, that's what happens when you're a hypocrite and you attack personal things, because it exposes the truth. You're all hypocrites.
How is it hypocritical? You compared 1 year without Kawhi without a ring to 8 years with James Harden. Those are very different.
That's ridiculous.
That is
ridiculous.
That's a straw man argument. That's a straw man argument. So
yeah.
Those aren't even the same thing.
Pastor Brennan, just come on more. I like disapproving you. It's fun.
Yeah. Okay. So listen, man. Okay. So Do you think, because in order for my example to work, I need to ask this question. Do you think Kemba Walker's jersey might get retired by Charlotte?
Probably yes.
Okay. So say
Yeah,
his jersey gets retired.
because the Hornets and Bobcats have no pass.
Right? Exactly.
They have no
so listen to
pass
this.
passer.
Kemba's been there for longer as well.
listen to this. So
and took him to the playoffs.
If Kemba's jersey gets retired on Charlotte, where the Bobcats are garbage and the Hornets are garbage, they won nothing. They have nothing to their name, nothing at all, except for like Larry Johnson, I think his name is. And then so Kemba Walker,
DJ Augustine.
Exactly. So Kemba Walker in his seasons with Charlotte, where his jersey's getting retired, is his jersey getting retired on someone like LA or like what's it called, Boston?
No,
not a chance. Not a chance.
Not a chance. You have to remember, on their all-star lineup, Muggsy Bogues is there on 2K. So I just want you to remember that. That's
Bogues!
Yeah, exactly.
Come on. Muggsy Bogues is famous for being good because he's short. Like,
exactly.
He's famous for being a good short guy. Him and Steve Webb have the same thing.
But why in the first place are you even considering retiring Kemba Walker's number? That doesn't make any sense.
Because he took them to their only playoff appearance since they moved. So
every one of you, your values are changing. Your minimum
based off the team.
Franchise.
Based off the team.
I 100% agree that our values are changing per team because
but for a reason.
Have different values.
Exactly.
It's a fact. It is a fact. There's bigger markets. There's bigger everything. Milwaukee has less value than LA. New York.
But if that's the case, a lot of players got to get unretired. A lot of players got to get unretired.
Nobody's perfect passive, Brandon. You got to adapt based on the apex that they have achieved.
Okay, but let's swing this back in conclusion. You are all still willing to retire an active player's number who is that's never really.
No. We're saying it doesn't matter. It's retirement even after they're retired. Like
you want them to wait then? Is that better? You just want them to wait. It's gonna get retired no matter what. It's gonna get retired no matter what.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can wait however long you want.
Playing. I feel like that's.
I mean, yeah, we can make that argument, but it's either gonna be done now or gonna be done like 6 years from now. So.
And then that's when his jersey
doesn't really change. It'll
still be done.
That episode of their careers is already closed off. They've already done what they have.
And he's never coming back. So.
There you go.
That's it.
Unbelievable.
It's not hypocritical.
Just
you get retired based off your franchise value. Franchise values differ based off the history of the team. That's how it works.
Yeah.
I don't even know why I come on the show.
Like these ABA teams that came in the 70s and 80s have different criteria. It just happens. They haven't been around for the times when other teams were in the league. So they have shorter histories, lesser histories. You can't blame the franchise for that.
See, that's what I'm telling you, okay? Every time I come on this show, the criteria for arguments change because your criteria for different teams change. It's ridiculous. You all need to fix this of your life.
We can't be nobody's perfect. Franchises are not created equal.
Franchises are created different. They're not created equal. Yes, exactly.
There we go.
Let's say the Lakers, okay, have the same the Raptors have the same criteria as the Lakers. Nobody to ever exist in Raptors history is making
would be retired.
A jersey retirement happen. None of them are even making the Hall of Fame.
But you just said if the criteria is winning and winning a ring, let's say you just said Kawhi Leonard and Kyle Lowry deserve it.
Kyle Lowry deserves it with the ring regardless. Kawhi Leonard, I agree with you. It is because of his ring, but it's because of what he was able to do here. Vince Carter
first championship.
A lot of stuff here. James Harden.
But again,
Chris Bosh
so
was able to do a lot of stuff here. DeMar DeRozan did a lot of stuff here.
So you would retire DeMar DeRozan with that's criteria.
Yes.
That's insanity.
You wouldn't retire DeMar DeRozan?
You wouldn't retire DeMar DeRozan
with their
criteria.
I don't even like him, but I'll retire him.
I love DeMar.
I don't like him, but I would still retire him.
It's the
in their 30-year history, he is top 5. Should be in the Raptors.
Yeah, come on now.
It's because again, you're switching criteria. This is normal for this.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. This means teams would have 0 retirements if that's the case.
So, let me explain this.
Teams would have 0 retirements if this is the case that you're making.
Let me explain.
Half of the league wouldn't have any jerseys retired.
So then let's say Charlotte has the same criteria as the Lakers. Alec Caruso's getting retired if Charlotte, like the Lakers have Charlotte's, what's it called? Criteria.
I'll finish with this.
It's
I will
levels.
finish with this. Okay.
Let's hear him. Let's hear him.
You were willing to let Houston retire James Harden number because even though he got fat and disrespected the team, and what happened is the Toronto Raptors disrespected DeMar DeRozan by trading him because he wasn't good enough to get it done.
But he did not disrespect us.
If that's what I'm saying, the criteria shifted and the Raptors disrespected the player, and now you're still willing to retire the number even though the organization disrespected the player, and now James Harden disrespects the organization, but you're not willing to switch it. It's insanity.
So Harden was a better player. Those aren't the same thing. Harden's a way better player than DeMar could ever be. So
we'd be making the same
he
argument.
took him far in the playoffs as well.
If James Harden was forced to leave Houston, we'd be making the same.
I'm going to call my therapist and talk about how I live in a toxic world.
All right. Well, then that's going to have to do it for this episode. We're running out of time. So thank you guys for watching, for listening to this. Drop a comment if you want Pastor Brandon to come back on. I don't know if he'll accept, but hey, it's good anyways. All right. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Have a good morning, evening, night, wherever you guys live at. Remember to
I'll do it in Singapore. It's probably
share.
some crazy morning or something. Yeah.
Yeah, for real. Like, subscribe, share, follow, all that. Save, do anything. And if you don't like it, just subscribe then. It's okay. Or if you don't want to subscribe, just like it. It's fine. It's fine. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Peace.